Hello Stampers! Got a cute little project for you today, and this card is using a couple stamp sets. This one has the Gnomes in it, so it's from the Kindest Gnomes stamp set. This is brand new and it just came out in the new July-December mini catalog, which I call the holiday catalog, and it has all these great gnomes in it. So we're going to be using these quite a bit, I think, in the next few months, because you can put these little gnomes in about any scenery card, and you can bundle it up with the gnomes dies. So think about doing that if you don't like fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting, but I know a lot of people don't care for it. So pick those dies up too, and then you won't have that problem. I'm also including the Painted Poppies stamp set. This is in the annual catalog, and it's just such a popular set, and it has been for like 2 years now. So I wanted some bright flowers in this, so I brought in the Poppies, the Painted Poppies stamp set. And that also has dies if you want to pick up some dies for that, and it's the Painted Labels dies. Now for my sentiment, I went to my favorite greetings sentiment set for this season, and it is the go-to greeting stamp set. So I just put just a note. I just love the fonts in this stamp set, so I've used it quite a bit since it came out. So here we go. We're going to start with our background on this card. I have a 3.5-inch square basic white panel. Now all the panels for this project are down below this video, the sizes, and you can just click show more and you'll see the sizes there, along with all the links to the products. That'll take you directly to my online store where you can shop 24/7 with me. So I have a 3.5-inch basic white panel. On top of it I have die cut using the layering circle dies. I took a double layer of Post-it note and I die cut this circle out of as much of the sticky part as I could, just so it will stick to my card. Now I do a double layer just so I don't risk getting spots like where I don't want them. I want a nice clean moon look here, so I don't want any inks to soak through, so I always protect myself and just use a double layer of Post-it notes. So we're going to start with our sky here, and I'm going to start with Highland Heather. I wanted to get a light purple in this scene. Light purple, and then the new Starry Sky. Colors are just beautiful together. So I'm going to take this Highland Heather and I'm going to go all the way around this moon shape here. And along the bottom, I just want to go just below it, just so we have that full effect, and you can flip that mask up and see that you have your nice circle going on there. So that's as far as I want to go down on this panel. I'm just getting a good base coat of that Highland Heather there. Then I'm going to bring in my Starry Sky. Fave color of the In Colors that came out this year. Starry Sky is gorgeous. It's so bright for a blue. It just pops no matter what color you put it with. So I'm going to start out and I'm going to get this pretty dark at the top here. Then I'm going to let my ink kind of run out on my brush, and then I'm going to bring it just a bit further down on the sides, just a little bit. I want it to kind of blend in with that Highland Heather instead of overpowering it. So get it dark at the top, let your ink run out pretty much on your brush, and then just bring in just a little bit down the sides. There's our sky. Now let's get our ground in. And I'm going to use Old Olive for this. And I'm going to take this old olive and I'm going to bring it almost up to that Highland Heather. I want to leave a little white there. Kind of gives it a misty look above your ground there. And I'm going to get it pretty dark down here at the very bottom. There we go. So that was old olive. All right, so now I'm going to bring in some Memento Tuxedo Black. And I have this stamp from the Painted Poppies stamp set. And I want to ink this up and I'm going to stamp it on our panel, and I want to make sure that the bottom of the stems are down in our grass just a bit. Oh, almost forgot to take my mask off there. That would have been a disaster. Okay. So I'm going to stamp it on this side. See, I have them down in the grassy area a bit, not just right at the top. And then I'm going to add just a few over here. There we go. And I left a little area kind of blank in there. All right. Now I'm going to take that Highland Heather brush that we had, and I'm not going to put any more ink on it. It has, just a little bit of ink from when we used it, and that is what I'm going to color the middle of our moon in with. So I'm just doing a circular motion and I'm leaving it light around the edges. Okay, now let's color our flowers in. And I have a dark pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend marker here, and this is what I'm just going to color each flower head in with. This goes pretty quickly. Really, I just kind of scribble over top of the flower a bit. There we go. And there is our poppies. Now I'm going to bring in a white gel pen, and I'm going to add some dots here in the grass. This can be like little clover. It's something I like to do just to make it kind of whimsical. I just do little groups of these little dots together. And there's that. And then I want to just randomly add a few dots in the sky for our stars. You're not going to see a whole lot of them, but I kind of like that. So there is our background done. Okay, so we're going to put that aside. I'm going to bring out just a piece of scrap paper here and bring in our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm going to stamp one of these flower heads from the Painted Poppy set. And that was with Memento Tuxedo Black. And then I'm going to stamp our little gnome girl. Since she's a girl, I just wanted to bring in some great flowers in this scene. So I'm going to stamp her here. Again, this is on just a scrap of basic white. All right. Now for some coloring. I'm going to do her hair first, and I'm going to start with a light pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend marker. And I'm going to color in her hair here, her little braids. I just envisioned her to have a beautiful auburn hair. So So I'm just coloring that braid all in with this light pumpkin pie. And while I have this color out, I'm going to go ahead and color over the entire flower with this. Just kill two birds with one stone. There we go. You don't have to worry about going outside of the flower because we're going to cut this out. Okay, so there was the light. And here's the dark pumpkin pie. And I'm going to just add some where the shaded areas are in her hair. Just so you have a little shading in there. Okay, and then for this flower, I'm going to add some at the bottom of this petal here, along that little edge there, along the bottom of that one, along that edge, and then I'm going to add some here in the rest of the petals. And then I'm going to bring the light pumpkin pie back in just for this flower, and I'm going to color over the whole thing again, and that kind of blends it together. Now you can always come in with a little more dark if you want a little more variance. There we go. So that's nice and bright, looks great. Okay, now to concentrate on our little gnome here, I'm going to color all the skin in with an ivory Stampin' Blend. I'm doing her little hands too. And then inside her little shoes where it's cut out, I colored that in also. I'm going to use a dark pale papaya, and I'm going to add some to the bottom of her nose, just like it's a little shaded spot in there, and then a little bit to her bottom lip. Now for her clothes, I'm bringing in a dark Parakeet Party Stampin' Blend marker. And I'm going to color this whole hat in. And I'm going to color in this part of her shirt, there in between the braids. And I'm leaving the collar white and the sleeves white. I'm going to grab this dark old olive, and I'm going to add a little bit down the sides of this hat. Okay, both sides. And I'm using like a little squiggly line here. And then I'm going to bring in that dark Parakeet Party again, and I just want to blend it in a bit. I love this color. It just pops. It's just so pretty. Okay. And then I'm going to bring back this dark old olive, and I'm going to color in the bottom of her little outfit here. I have to concentrate a little bit more, so it's hard for me to talk and color. Not that coordinated. All right. There we go. Sometimes I just fuss in. There we are. So there is our little girl all colored and our flower done. Now I'm going to take a pair of paper snips, and I'm just going to cut these images out, and I will be right back. Actually, you can also use the dies, the coordinating dies for these. I just opted not to. I like a little closer cut. Okay, I have my two images cut out. There's my flower and my gnome, and I'm going to set them aside just for a moment. I'm going to take a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock here and the Memento Tuxedo Black. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment from this Go-To Greeting stamp set. I'm doing just a note There's a larger one here, but I just felt this was a better size to put on. So that's what I'm doing. You can put any sentiment you like from any stamp set you have on hand. And I'm going to stamp this like right down in the corner of this cardstock. I have it already done. I just used the paper trimmers to cut this out. And I'm going to set that aside. Okay. Now I have a Greeny Apple Green piece that's 3 inches by 5 inches. The reason I'm telling you the size for this, we're going to cut a stem out of this, and super simple to cut a stem out. So I'm just going to go up the side of the cardstock and I'm going to just make a curve. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a stem. Now I'm cutting it, I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to follow that line that I made around there. And there's my stem. Just that quick. So it's not as scary as what you think. There we go. So I have my stem all cut out. And I think I have all my pieces now. So we're going to start putting this together. And I have a pumpkin pie card base here. And it's 5.5 by 8.5, and then I fold it in half for a quarter card. I cut 2 of the Starry Sky panels that are 4 by 5.25. Put one on the outside and I put one on the inside. And then I added a white panel here that is 3 3/4 by 5. I added 2 panels just to keep the weight of the card similar so the back isn't lighter than the front. It just gives you a good weighted card to do that. So to that I'm going to add my main image panel here, and I'm going to do that in the center, and I'm going to use multi-purpose glue for this. But you use whatever adhesive you like best. I'm going to add that to the center of my card. Give this a look. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to add my little gnome girl. I'm going to add her right in there in front of that moon. So cute. Okay, now we have our stem. And I kind of wanted to curve it around the moon a bit there. So that's how I'm going to put it on. Just make sure you're putting your glue on the right side of the stem, so you can put it on the direction you want it to. I have made that mistake before. Okay, so I'm going to curve it around. It's okay that it goes off the bottom a little bit. I'm going to just cut that off, flush with the bottom of the card. There's our stem. I'm going to add our flower on here. And you can back that flower up a little bit. Have it going down, facing downward some. It doesn't have to be right at the end of your stem. You can cover that stem up some. Okay, so there's that flower. Now we have our sentiment piece here. It's just going to go on the bottom. And I'm covering up a bit of the main panel, and I'm bringing it over flush with the edge of that Starry Sky panel. And there we go. There is our finished project all done. I hope this inspires you to get those inks out and give this a try. Thanks for joining me today. Take care. Bye.